Single Mothers Outreach is a grassroots organization originally founded in 1995 by a divorcee who sought peer support from other single mothers. In 1998, they acquired 501c3 nonprofit status, opened their first storefront office in Canyon Country in 2002, have since moved to the beautiful Newhall area, the Savia Center. And with me this morning is the executive director of the Single Mothers Outreach, Diane Smith. Good morning.
Good morning.
And also with you, we're not just here to talk about the Single Mothers Outreach, we're here to talk about our SCV Man and Woman of the Year nominees, the Single Mothers Outreach nominated Marc Emmer. Good morning, Marc.
Good morning.
Now, this is kind of an exciting thing. Have you been nominated before?
I have not been nominated before, and frankly, I think there are many people more deserving than I, so thank you for the honor.
Diane, what compelled you to nominate Marc as a SCV Man of the Year for 2015?
We almost went out of business in 2007, I believe it is. And we brought Marc in to use his strategic planning skills to help us reorganize the organization. And he shortly after joined our board of directors, and he has been absolutely instrumental in turning around a sinking ship. And so we are stronger, better, and poised for growth because of the work that he did investing in Single Mothers Outreach.
And that's really important because I know a lot of people who have been a part of the Single Mothers Outreach over the years. To think that an organization like that might not exist in this valley is something almost unconscionable. Now Marc, can you tell me what background do you have that helped to keep the Single Mothers Outreach not only afloat but actually thriving?
Well, I do have a day job. I founded a management consulting firm 13 years ago. We specialize in strategic planning. But a conversation that Diane and I and the board had going back 7 or 8 years ago is that, there's roughly 175 nonprofits in the Santa Clarita Valley. They're all incredibly worthy of our support. And, them all going to the same 400 wallets in town and asking for money is just not a sustainable model. So one of the things that we identified early was more than 70% of the funding for nonprofits in this country comes through some form of social enterprise. So identifying a social enterprise that could help carry the organization forward was one of the things we really focused on. So that was the idea that ended up becoming Closet on Main. And of course, the miracle of Marco Hudson came along and made that a reality. But so that, and I think just building out the organization, we spent a lot of time in terms of getting the right board members and building structure, and my background was helpful, I would imagine, in that regard.
Well, you have quite a background in the SCV of working with other organizations as well. Past president, SCV School and Business Alliance, chairman and immediate past chair at SCV Facilities Foundation, William S. Hart School District Advisory Committee chair, Valley Industrial Association. I can go on and on. So this isn't just like, okay, I'm going to do a little bit here. You really, really integrate yourself into the fabric of the community, it seems like.
Well, thank you for that, but I still think even in the case of Single Mothers Outreach, whenever you have a really successful nonprofit, it really has to do with the staff and the dozens of volunteers. I mean, this woman here, she worked nearly full-time for 2 years without pay at all just to keep us afloat. So all of those organizations I've worked with are quality organizations, and they're quality because the people are quality.
And the focus on that is that clearly you have a love for the Valley. How long have you lived out here?
Well, this is my second stint here. My wife and I met here. We moved up to the San Francisco Bay Area, and then when our kids started to grow up, we came back. So we've been back about 15 years.
Okay, outstanding. Dan, with this, what do we have? Because we're talking, looking at your website, saying and you mentioned earlier in the interview, kind of poised for great things. Are there things that we can talk about on the air that plans for this year or the near future for the Single Mothers Outreach?
Yeah, I think the tremendous success of Closet on Main, and again, we've also nominated Margot Hudson for her role in making that venture successful. It opened the door of opportunities for us to think about other ways that we could not only empower our parents, but also raise funds for our organization. And so we are working on a workforce development program. And basically what we're doing as a board of directors and as an organization is we're building our infrastructure and our foundation so that we can replicate it in other communities. So that's our long-term vision, because one thing we discovered quite early is that there are precious few resources for the single parent who's struggling to put food on the table and everything. So we want to be able to take the success that we've built here in Santa Clarita and move it out into other communities. And most of our moms are either under or unemployed, and so workplace development is a really important piece of helping them serve their families well.
Outstanding. Did you have something to add to that, Mark?
Yeah, we think that there's around 6,000 single-family households in Santa Clarita Valley. We serve about 400 of them. And, one thing I always say is these single parents, they do miraculous things for their children, and it's about giving them a hand up, not a hand out. So we think in addition to going national with this model, there's a lot of upside in this valley to serve more families.
Absolutely.
Well, outstanding. Mark, congratulations on your nomination, and good luck and continued success in what you do for the Single Mothers Outreach. Diane, a pleasure to meet both of you, and good luck. We're really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the near future.
Thank you.